Well, hi, this is D-Roy Cruz, your Life Applications Officer again. Um, there's so much to write on what I hear going on YouTube. And I'll admit, I only hear this going on YouTube. YouTube is the place, man. It is the place where you hear TV programs and radio shows and podcasts, broadcasts, and blogs, and these voices that are coming out of nowhere. Like sometimes I wonder if like YouTube is sometimes the stuff that I hear, sometimes I wonder if it's real. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't hear about these people. You don't see them anywhere else but on YouTube. Um, Let me say again, I love white people. I really do. I know. Okay, and I got black friends that ain't friends with me anymore. It's okay for me to say that I'm not racist. But to say that I love white people, that's the worst thing that you can ever say as a black man to a lot of people that I know. But I love white people. And why do I love white people? Because I'll be honest, comparing tradition to uh, other forms of culture. Okay, like I agree with Miss Red Ice on one thing, and that is all these people coming into America running their mouths about what they think America should be. Who's running culture back at your place? You need to be building your culture. I agree with her on that. You know what I'm saying? What I don't agree on is get this. Oh, you're white. You're not a racist. But this is your country and your traditions and your beliefs and your you know what I'm saying? Now, I said this in a few other videos that I said. And I'm going to say it again. Somebody's got to be in charge. That's one thing that's dumb about my race. That they didn't have that problem back in the days, you know, like in the 50s and going backwards. They didn't have this problem of letting white people be in charge. Once white people stopped calling everything black and white at first and stopped calling everything the N word and you know what I'm saying, and started, giving blacks the right to vote and go to college and all that kind of stuff. Black folks was a lot of us anyway, were starting to like appreciate white people. Okay? And these people talking about white nationalism are forgetting, first of all, the blacks that did go through slavery. The blacks that did go through um, white racism, and I hate to go back there. I really do. But these people, you know, this whole thing of white nationalism, you might as well just come out and say, if I'm getting white nationalism right, you might as well just come out and say, hey, I'm a racist. There's nothing wrong with being a racist. And there's no law that binds me from being a racist. We have a right to be a racist. And racism is good. That's what you might as well say. Because that's what you're really saying. What is the point of getting rid of racism if we're not supposed to be diverse? Look up the word racism in the dictionary. These people talk like, if you're not killing anybody and you don't wish to go to war or kill anybody, you're not a racist. But to say that you don't believe in race mixing, you want people to come to America like they go to Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? Which is, the Hawaiians don't see Hawaii as a state. They see it as their country. And the islands, you can't just go on the islands and say, "Hey, I'm an American." I'd like to I'd like to live here, or I'd like to even rent a room for a week or whatever. No, they're into the sorority, sovereignty thing, where you can come and visit. And this guy from Red Ice, I guess he's the husband, he was saying that. Even with this black dude that he was just talking to tonight. That, what's wrong with people coming to visit but they can't stay? And I'm going to say it again, and I said this tonight on his channel, their channel, that it's easy for you as white people to say, we want to be white, which I love white people. There's nothing wrong with being white. You're right, and I love white people the way they are, and if you don't know what that means, then I can't help you. But read between the lines. But I know what is good and what is positive. I know what is generic and what is, just fuel for the garbage. I know. But we're all God's creation. And there's a fine line between humans and animals. No matter how dumb humans act, there's a fine line between humans and animals. There's a fine line between humans, okay, or should I say, there's a fine line between brown-skinned humans and brown-skinned animals. I don't care how much these brown-skinned people keep showing up on the Colin Flaherty channel. There's a fine line. And there's a way out of the mess that's going on in America without creating a civil war. There's a way out of the mess that's going on in America. And yes, it's going to take some discipline. I believe a lot of black people need to be silenced. Shut the F up, man. What the F are you talking about? You talk about me wanting to cuss. I just feel like screaming and cussing right now at my own people. Shut the F up, man. You don't know what the F you talking about. Especially when, the evidence is in front of you. And you want to call it something else. You need to be silenced. This is where I agree with getting rid of free speech. Shut up, man. If you don't know what you're talking about, shut up. Don't just talk because you feel some kind of way. Shut up. Really. Really. But at the same time, these red ice people and anyone else that I'm learning what white nationalism is, I guess. Correct me if I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong about white nationalism. I want to be wrong if I heard her say that, you know, if I heard her wrong when she explained what white nationalism is. If I heard her wrong when I heard her say she stands up for white nationalism and there's all these protesters out there that are part of their network and in agreement with their network that are not part of their network, there's white nationalists all over the place who believe in white nationalism, which from if I'm hearing them correctly, and I hope I'm not hearing them correctly, that white nationalism is white people want to separate themselves from everybody else. All, and not just here in America, and not just Europe, but all over. You talk about somebody looking at the color of their skin and getting stupid with them and getting stupid with it. That's no longer a black thing. Now you got white people doing it. I thought black folks were the only ones stupid for doing that. Look at your skin and worship yourself. Look at your skin and say, oh, you know, I'm beautiful, you're not, you know, because you don't look like this. I thought black folks were stupid for doing that. But now you got white folks doing that. And I don't know if it's just mere retaliation until some things stop, or if these people are actually serious. I guess she's the wife. I guess they're a married couple, even though the camera's split. But she sounds very, very. I mean, he's a little bit more careful with his mouth. Then you wonder why women had to be silent. We had that discussion at work tonight. Women being silent in the church. Okay. Which brings me to another thing she said where she misjudged a lot of people. All black folks aren't Democrats. See, my whole problem, and I'm going to say it again, I said this in the last video. My whole problem with you addressing anything racial, you got to think about the other side, man. Because everybody's not alike. All Asians ain't alike. I got some Asians that work at my hospital that know how to speak. Whether they know how to speak English very well or not, they try to be as friendly as they can be. But then you get these Asians, okay, who think that, oh, because they don't have to do housekeeping, or they don't have to, they don't, they don't live in the same neighborhoods as these other Asians. Okay. That they don't have to connect with anyone but wealthy Asian people like themselves. They even look down their nose at other Asian people. They might as well join Red Ice. They might as well join white nationalism, if that's what it is. So look at the picture. The reason why Americans came over here, okay, The reason, in this red ice scroll, I'm not trying to beat white people over the head for taking this land from the Indians or the Native Americans. Because I don't believe, like my man Pastor, and I heard a white man say this, and I agree with him, and I heard Pastor Manning say something, who's black, on the very same lines, that what was these Indians going to do with all this? This would have been, I mean, how can D-Roy, how can you say that? Well, because you look at Indians today. They need to be on reservations. Why are you on a reservation instead of being in here in the general population, building businesses? This is what America is about. There is no democracy that doesn't build business that is successful. In order to be successful on a world that's ran on money, you need to build businesses. And you need to have slaves, basically, working those businesses for you. Because the less slaves, the more you have to share. And the more sharing you do, the less you're going to have to yourself. Let me say that again. In order for you to hold the money, to be holding all the money, you need to have some slaves working your business for you. Okay? But see, the less slavery, the more you got to share. And the more you got to share, there's less for you. Bible says, owe no man nothing but to love him. I love white people. The white people that have been in my life. Or the white people, and I don't want to sound like Barack Obama because I can't stand this son of a gun. Okay? But the white people that have been a blessing in my life have made me appreciate this country. I don't appreciate this country because they let us play rap music in this country. That's not why I love this country. And I don't think that's what anybody means by diversity. More rap music. That's what this woman might think. But these white people that I grew up with have encouraged me to stay in school. They've encouraged me to look at the hard times and the violent times and the laws and rules of this nation from a brighter, successful standpoint. They wanted to see me succeed. I want to say this, though. I've never expected any white man or white woman to take away from their own children to support my black behind. I've never expected that because I wouldn't do that for them. I wouldn't take away from my own sons and daughters, my own wife, or anybody that's close and dear to me and say, oh, because I'm not a racist, I'm going to give this to your kid so your kid can get ahead of mine. Nobody does that. Nobody's going to do that. And I've never expected any of my white counterparts to do that. And I've never expected any of my black counterparts that are successful to do that. Okay? Maybe some black folks think you should do that. I don't feel you should do that. I would not do that for you, white or black, or any other race. I would not do that for you. If I'm successful, first person that's going to feed off my success is my kids and my wife. All the rest of y'all can go pick straw. Become slaves out in the field. I don't care. My family comes first. But your family's not a nation. Your family is just 5 of y'all, 10 of y'all, 20 of y'all if you're adding cousins and uncles and aunts, second cousins, third cousins. But once you take care of your family, what kind of demonic, white trash, black trash nonsense are you coming up with talking about we want to, there ain't nothing wrong, we want to be white people. We just want to be white people. We just want to have our own culture and do our own thing. So let me get the picture. Let me get this picture. Let's forget about Black Lives Matter because the term is wrong. American lives matter. When you said Black Lives Matter, you fumbled the ball because black isn't a race. Neither is white, Miss Red Ice. You dropped the ball too when you called yourself, well, I just want to be white. Oh, so what you're saying is you want to side with people that aren't brown skinned, okay, that have more cancer cells in their body and less melanation. You want to side with them because those that have more cancer cells in their body have higher IQs. So you want to side with them all over the nation, all over the world. Even though a lot of these people don't care about your white behind because you are not German. And if you've been in America all this time, you ain't European. Now you might call yourself European because that's where you came from. But they don't recognize you over there. Just like if I go over to Africa, who are you? They don't recognize me. I don't speak the language. I don't dress like them. I don't act like them, even though they know I come from them. The fossil record is there in that rich land of resources that gets covered up. Okay? However, we're not a race because we are a certain skin color. And wherever you go, to produce a culture for yourself, and you birth and raise your children on that soil. That's your ethnicity. That's where you're from. It doesn't matter whether your skin is white, yellow, brown, or green. You are what you are. Just like, I've met people who you got black folks, and this is all on YouTube too. I mean, but you got black folks coming up in Russia. My problem with people coming up in Russia and embracing the Russian people is when Russia decides to attack America, where do you stand? Now we got my little friend, Miss Random Yoko, over in Japan. Okay? When anybody attacks America, she's on the side of the Americans. But she's not an American. She's Japanese. She can speak in 4 different languages. Okay? But she loves America. She loves Donald Trump. And she's excited about America's choice to select Donald Trump as their most recent president. But she's not an American. Okay? But I think I would love for her to be here in America, because this is where I agree with Miss Red Ice and her husband. That in every country, somebody's in charge. You can't, because slavery happened to black folks, it's common sense. You can't just turn this into a non-white nation because of what happened a long time ago. You can't try to put pressure on our government to kick white folks out of their homes and take their property and uh, you know chase them, so to speak, out of this country. But to think that this country is surviving on just the wealth of the rich, white, you're kind of wet behind the ears, and very naive, Miss Red Ice. First of all, your fear of multiculturalism already happened right here on American soil, because a lot of these people that won't get deported, even though they don't support this country or support the flag, okay? These people own property, okay? You can thank your twisted government that Donald Trump is trying to pull down. You can thank your twisted government for that. I agree with you. That's nonsense. You're not even an American citizen. How do you own property in America? How do you get to call something a no-go zone? You're not even legal. You're not even a full American. You ain't even been here that long. And I agree with you that if the Protestants are the religious culture of this country, then that's what it should be. Even if we're not legit, so to speak, on the spiritual in the spiritual handbook, whichever handbook that is. The only one I know is the Bible. But I guess everybody got their own other handbook. But anyway, whatever handbook you read from, even if we're not legit, okay, it's already been established. Nobody's going to go over to the Middle East and make everybody stop being Muslim. Nobody's going to go over there to the Middle East and try to fight with them about what they do in their country and say, hey, if your women don't want to wear the burqa, they shouldn't have to. No one's going to do that. But you'll come here and do it. You'll come here and try to make everybody wear a burqa. And I agree with Miss Red Ice. That's bull dookie. Okay? Get out of here with that nonsense. And that's what I mean when I say I love white people the way they are. I love this country. I love my discovery of the Christian faith. I do not care if the slaves learned Christianity before I did. They taught it to the slaves first. Okay? I don't care. That's irrelevant to whether the gospel is the truth or not. Just because somebody might use something out of context, that doesn't make the instrument that they were using less powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like if I take a gun to solve a dispute, it's not the gun's fault that the brother is lying on the floor. It's my fault that the brother's lying on the floor dead. The gun didn't shoot him by itself. I shot him. And it's the same way with faith. Any religion that you practice, it's not the religion alone But it's people using things to their advantage and using them the wrong way. Okay? I'm glad that I was taught Christianity. I don't remember it, I don't recall it coming from the white man. My first pastor was black. The pastor I have now is white. Because somewhere, Miss Red Ice, you see, somewhere amongst learning what it's all about, you kind of get too old with the nonsense. And you understand that we all need to love each other. Okay? And when you decide to hate because you think you're already being hated, so you try to make fun of those that hate you on the only positive things. You know, you criticize some of these interracial relationships, Miss Red Ice. Those interracial relationships are the only positive things in these people's lives. Okay? You criticize, you know, having children and all this stuff. I'd rather have too many children than to have too many abortions, Miss Red Ice. I'd rather be overpopularized with children that need a mom and a dad than to be seeing all these burial sites of all these kids' bones chopped up in there. Because some girl got raped. Some girl didn't know how to escape the porn industry. Some girl didn't know how to be gay and hide her desire for heterosexuality from the gay community. Some girl needed prostitution to survive. So she took it out on the children because she don't want the children messing with her money. And she ain't got time to be birthing and you know. But two wrongs don't make a right is my point. I'm closing. Two wrongs don't make a right. There is no excuse for anybody to even talk about or talk back about any positive means of any forms of racism. We all should be, you know, there's nothing wrong with being white. There's nothing wrong with me as a black man picking a culture. As I said in the last video, my culture is Christian culture, which involves a lot of white folks. But they're not people like Miss Red Ice who might think she's a Christian. She's not. You will not hear, we just want to be white people. We just want to separate ourselves from everybody else in my white church. I'm sorry, they don't talk like that. And if they did, I'd love them the same. I have to laugh at them, but I love them the same. So, you know, I'm going to close there. I'm going to do a part 3 of this. And I will see you very, very soon. God bless you. Have a good Christmas if I don't do the next video on Christmas. But until then, God bless you. Have a safe and Merry Christmas. In Jesus' name, God bless you. See you later.